On this episode of State 48 News, we examined the latest records which we requested from the town of Paradise Valley and Mesa, Arizona, all regarding photo radar. The tickets, the money, and a one-on-one audio interview with photo radar expert Shawn Dow of the Campaign for Liberty. State 48 News encourages all drivers to follow the law and consult a legal professional before choosing not to pay a photo radar ticket. Understanding your rights and your responsibilities is key to making informed decisions.
And the most egregious of these, the 10% cut of every photo radar ticket that goes into state legislators and state senators' campaign coffers.
We first learned of photo radar critic Shawn Dow after his viral speech exposing how photo radar revenue contributes to Arizona's Clean Elections Fund. We thank him for joining State 48 News to help analyze the records we've obtained in our ongoing investigation.
Let's go over these Mesa numbers first. After 58 days, they cannot process the event. 90 days is all the citation is valid for. If a person is not served or show up for court, the citation is dropped. What does that tell you?
Well, if you remember my last testimony in the House Transportation Committee, I asked the chairman if he wanted to know how we learned that you could throw away your ticket.
There are people who are exempt from photo radar tickets here in Arizona. You want to know how we found out that after 120 days the ticket is automatically dismissed, Mr. Chairman? Please. What I did is I went to the county records and I looked up every single executive of the photo radar company, and I found that every single one of them had like 14 photo radar tickets, and all of them said dismissed under Rule 4I. So I looked it up. It says that if you are not issued a ticket by a properly sworn officer of the court, the ticket is automatically dismissed after 120 days. So we let everybody know you could trash your ticket.
Friends don't let friends pay red light camera tickets.
And so we started the Trash Your Ticket campaign. And they went from a 95 or 97% pay rate down to now it's about 45, 50%. And it's maintained that now for about 10 years.
Oh my goodness. So it is true, essentially, if you just avoid paying the ticket, you get out of it.
It is absolutely true. There are not enough process servers in the whole world to serve 200,000 tickets per city per year.
Okay, so I don't want to get in trouble by the police. Are there consequences for not paying the ticket?
Only if you are properly served by a process server. So don't answer your door for strangers.
If I get a ticket, God forbid, in Casa Grande, and the process server doesn't come to my house to serve it to me, then the city of Mesa is relying upon my goodwill or my fancy to decide whether or not I pay it. Do you think that that is an equal and fair application of the law when you allow the person receiving the ticket to decide upon their goodwill as to whether or not they decide to pay it?
Again, you're all equally have equal opportunity to drive within reasonable speeds.
So if I'm speeding and you catch me and I don't pay my fine, my license could get suspended. But if I'm speeding and the photo radar catches me and I don't pay my fine, I don't get a suspended license.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Representative Contreras, that is correct.
And that is why it's not fair.
No, but that's why you should want more of them.
You specifically.
Are we live? Can we strike that from the video, please?
Oh my gosh. So everything Teresa was asking in the meeting is essentially true.
Yes, ma'am. And as you can tell by the documents that Mesa and Paradise provided you, about half of their tickets are dismissed because of that Rule 4I. They went past the days where people went online and accepted responsibility or chose to go to traffic school. The most concerning part is that they're still issuing tickets to people who are not the owner of the vehicle. That's most concerning. This is one of the tragedies of this photo radar scheme, is that they're ticketing the owner of the car, not the driver. Therefore, they're making false accusations tens of thousands of times a year. What police officer do you know in administration would accept a 50% bogus ticket rate from one of their police officers? How long would that police officer maintain his post certification if 50% of his tickets were bogus?
And the thing is, they're still making good money off of the half of the people that do pay.
It's not just good money. We're talking about millions and millions of dollars.
So they're just banking on, less than half the people paying, and they can continue to bring in good money.
It very much looks like it's really all about the money and has nothing to do with safety.
On the Paradise Valley numbers, fiscal year 24 found not responsible 8 people. Tell me about those 8 people.
Those 8 people went to court and fought it all the way through to prove that they were not the one driving, stood before a judge, and it was obvious to the judge that the person who was standing in the courtroom was not the person in the video that they were watching.
In the area that says failure to appear and failure to pay, there are 1,200 people. So they will go after people if you don't.
The people who are actually process served, if they continue to ignore the ticket, they will get a failure to appear. You cannot ignore it once the process server, a duly sworn officer of the court, sends it to you or brings it to you and hands it to you. Now, the city of Scottsdale is doing something very egregious. They do what's called motion for alternative service, where the process server no longer has to see you and hand you the ticket. He just tapes it to your door. And Scottsdale is using that thousands and thousands of times a month.
The other thing I thought was interesting, fiscal year 52,000, calendar year 62,000. Where did Paradise Valley get the 100,000 number?
We have over about 100,000 citations that are issued a year for that.
I don't know. It seems like they testified to one thing in the committee and provided you with another thing to try and make it look like it's not as bad. Because the paperwork that they gave to the transportation committee all said 100,000.
Are you seeing people, you said it changes behavior. Have you been seeing people not repeat? Like, do you not have the same repeat offenders? Is it that number, which I believe was, what was the number of citations you had last year? 100,000? Is that 100,000 unique citations, or are there repeat offenders?
Good question. I don't have the information in front of me if it's repeat offenders, but I do know that that statistically we know that we have had a decrease of accidents and a decrease of incidents of collision or death.
Okay, so now let's get down into town revenue. $2.9 million, fiscal year 24. What does that tell you?
They stole $2.9 million from people by violating their constitutional rights.
It has created a definite change in behavior. And as far as the revenue, we never look at it directly as revenue. Per citation that is $37 to the town, the rest goes to the state.
And where it says state and county surcharge fees, $935,000. Tell me about those fees.
Because they're limited on the amount that they can charge by the state legislature for these, but they are not limited by the number of fees that they can tack on. They like to tack on these administrative fees, court fees. If you have to have a process server come to your house and they get you and they serve you, that's going to be an extra $50. That's what those fees are.
Is any of that the money that goes to clean elections?
It is not. The clean elections is now an 11% off the top of that $243.
Let's look at the expenditures. I mean, it is not cheap to run photo radar, and they're still making $1 million on top of it.
It's not cheap. It's very expensive, and the vendor, Vera Mobility, really gets a lot of money because they provide the equipment. They provide everything. They do everything. They hire the process servers. They do every bit of it. The judge in Paradise Valley, when I asked him, how is it possible that these people can do this? He said, essentially, they deputized Vera Mobility.
From the numbers, these basic numbers, can you see in here where these numbers are improving safety on the roads?
No, all I see is that their revenue is increasing every year, proving that it is all about the money and has nothing to do with safety. They are willing to risk your lives and your property in order to steal money from you. A bright flash at the most dangerous part of the road, the intersection, cannot and will not make the road safer.
The mayor of Paradise Valley specifically, emphatically says that this software, this photo radar, this technology is meant to get people thinking before they actually violate the speed limit. And it's meant to be there to try and deter people from speeding.
We want to change the behavior, and so we go through really important efforts of creating signage and making sure people realize it's there. And we're very proud of the fact that it has been a deterrent.
And then later in the meeting, he said he just got a ticket for going 11 over.
I can say that because I just got one a couple of months ago for going 11
Paradise
miles over.
Valley?
Yeah, I did, and
Wow.
so
it's not working.
Yeah, it did for me. I had to pay it, so I'm in. I was going to mention that. There is.
This is why when we get real numbers from cities, the police chief of Peoria, Arizona, gave me real numbers and showed like 400% increase in accidents.
So what is the moral of the story on these numbers today?
Looks like you've been lied to. How did they go down by 50,000 in 1 month? From what they testified in the hearing.